What's the age requirement for hooking up with these girls, bro?
What you mean?
The nigga they was trying to put her on with was easily 70 years old.
Bro, you think it was age requirements back then?
Yeah. I was like, yo, that dude like 70. What the hell?
It was actually pretty gross.
She was like, you can't seriously expect me to marry him.
And then they don't even be like, never mind, I ain't gonna get into, you know what I'm saying. These ain't no silver charming foxes. Daniel Craig looking motherfuckers. These are like dad bod ass. Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to Cinecism. I, of course, am your host, Eric.
It is your boy, Dante, and today we will be doing a review on Bridgerton. La 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 la.
Indubitably.
Right.
Yeah. Bridgerton is a Netflix original series taking place in the Regency era. Primarily, I guess you could say it's about a bunch of different families and socialites who interact with each other and have a lot of history and drama going on behind the scenes. One of which is the Bridgerton family. I guess the main family. You have the Featherington family, primarily one member of the Hastings family or the Duke. Basically, it's about all of these families interacting and the issues that come with being of a certain prestige of that time, the pressure that also comes with being coming from a wealthy family.
It's definitely about young women specifically of that time period and how important it was for them to be married in order to garner a certain status. Daphne is the main character that we follow. She's been bred pretty much her whole life to become like a high societal wife. And it has become what they call like the season. It's cuffing season out here.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a nice correlation.
Right. This is the time of the year where all of the young ladies of high society kind of come out presented by their families in hopes to get a marriage proposal or get the wheels in motion to get a future marriage proposal.
What a way to live.
Oh my God, man.
Just your highest aspiration is to be married. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's more to life than just that.
Right.
But it like during this time, that seemed like the thing, like the pinnacle of success.
Yes. And hearing more and more about their story and how their society worked, it's like ideal for your survival. Like if you're not married,
no, that's the sad part.
You probably gonna be cast away. Like you looked at as almost next to nothing.
Also, amongst these socialites, you have this infamous scandal writing. I guess she's kind of like the tabloid writer. She knows the dirt and the tea on like everybody, all the people within these wealthy circles. Nobody really knows who she is. She's an anonymous writer, and one of the members of the Bridgerton family for this season is spending much of her time trying to get to the bottom of who the author is of these tabloid stories. All right, let's start with the Bridgerton family. You had a mother who's widowed now.
We could just call her Lady Bridgerton. That's what everybody was calling her.
There you go. Mm-hmm. She's a pretty loving and supportive mother, but can be a little bit oblivious to some of her children's challenges sometimes. Yeah. I don't really blame her for that, but you can tell she tries at least to connect with them on some level.
She's definitely a good mother. I think she's just a mother of the time, especially for women in society, where they just have a certain place, the mothers and, the caretakers, but not really looked at in terms of heads of the households. I think that a lot of her information or what she was trying to impart to Daphne and the rest of her daughters just comes from learned behavior of that time. You got to have a man in order to be of any success.
Okay, Anthony is the oldest. He's the head of the household now, since their father's passing. He's a complicated dude. It's like he wants to live up to his responsibilities, the leading male in the household, but he's got his own things going on. It's like he wants to accept his responsibility, but he also wants to just live his normal life as well. Yeah. So he kind of battles, he's kind of conflicted with that duality of his life at the time.
I kind of felt... It's crazy to say this. I kind of felt more bad for him than even Daphne, because I felt like even she had at least an opportunity to date somebody who she cared about. Yeah. Like the woman that he cares for is like an opera singer. He got to see her in like the dead of night and like they kind of just sneaking around, but he can't never really marry her because she's not a woman of society. It would be frowned upon if he actually dated her. And because he's the head of the household and the firstborn son, I think he could have probably gotten away with it if he was like the secondborn or the third. Yeah. But because he's expected to be the head of the household, he legitimately just can't. It would probably tarnish his family's image.
Yeah,
so
the other brother be doing whatever.
Yeah, but, yeah.
I kind of, like you said, I felt more for him than I did for Daphne. Like Daphne was kind of getting on my nerves. I ain't gonna lie, but we'll talk about her later. I know she had shit going going on.
Yeah, because he was really in love with that girl, man. And at first I thought maybe it was just like a fling, but as the show progressed, I was like, oh, they really in love. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad that he couldn't be with the person that he actually cared about. I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
Okay, so Daphne, she is definitely the main character of this story. She is of age to marry. Her brother and mother are both kind of trying to facilitate her finding a suitable husband. She's a pretty naive young girl. She doesn't really know a lot about life, and that's chalked up kind of to her age, but also to her privilege, the privileged lifestyle that she grew up in.
I like Daphne. I understood her circumstance, but I felt like for a person that came from where she came from, she really cared about people. She was kind to people.
She was.
Like you said, just naive, and a lot of that just had to do with, I think, just the times. And I mean, she really ain't get no game kicked to her.
At all. Stuff that was very vital to like a woman's livelihood.
Things just about her body and how that worked. You know what I'm saying?
You could have told her that.
Yeah, I ain't understand why they kept her in the dark on that. So Daphne is what they call, I forgot what it was. It's a word like unrivaled or something. She has been handpicked by the queen to be like, she like that bitch this season. You know what I'm saying?
Like the most eligible bachelorette.
Yeah, she's the most sought after. She's the one that the queen has deemed pretty much the belle of the ball. In the beginning, she's getting a lot of attention from men and things like that. Her brother, look in an effort to look out for her, he was kind of being a little overbearing, but he was just trying to make sure she got a man of value that fit her value. Seemingly scared all the dudes away. Like nobody was trying to talk to Daphne because they kept getting blocked. Because of that, she kind of went from top tier status to a much lower status, and the gossip columnist is writing about it. Because of that, she comes up with a scheme with the Duke of Hastings, who we'll later talk about. But basically, he's trying to ward off suitors, and she's trying to gain them, and they felt like they would have a mutual beneficial relationship if they act like they were falling for each other and falling in love. That way, Daphne would start to get more suitors, and, you know, women would leave him alone. So they kind of come up with this scheme.
What a predicament.
Oh my God. Every time he came in a party, they were swarming him.
Yeah.
You know.
Walked in there smooth though.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, he was cool.
That velvet jacket on.
You know what I'm saying? That velvet to get him. What is that velvet?
Cold.
You know?
Eloise, should we talk about her next?
Yeah, we can.
Eloise is probably the black sheep of the Bridgerton family. She doesn't feel like she really fits in. She doesn't really care about that whole glamorous life or trying to uphold a facade or a certain image. She kind of wants to just do her own thing.
How you were talking about Daphne was kind of annoying. I felt like Eloise was kind of annoying.
She was at some parts.
Yeah.
When it came to the Featherington girl, for sure.
I felt like she had a lot more naivete, especially like you say, when it came to her friend. It's just like because she had such tunnel vision for uncovering the Lady Whistledown's identity that I felt like she kind of neglected a lot of the things that were going on around her. And, you know, she's still young. So, of course, she's not tuned in to everybody's feelings and things like that. But it was moments where I felt like it was clear that at least her friend was going through a rough time. And she just was not, it was just not registering.
That happened multiple times.
Yeah, several times in the series. She was going against the grain, but I think that was more naturally who she was. She was just the type of girl that really enjoyed books and reading, and it seemed like she wanted to further her education. One thing I'll say about the Bridgertons, though, all in all, they were a pretty tight-knit family. Like, out of all the families on this show, they certainly were the most functional. And I think even though they disagreed, it always felt like it came from a place of love. Like, I ain't never felt like they was really beefing to the point where they just wasn't going to reconcile anything.
So let's move on to the Featheringtons.
Okay.
With they bullshit.
Oh, my God.
So you got Lady the Featherington and her husband, who is still alive. We learn really quickly that they are somewhat estranged, even though they live in the same household. They have minimal, if any, real interaction with each other. They got 3 daughters, and they have a niece, a relative that's living with them at the moment. She's always trying to be seen in like the best possible light. She's the type of person that looks down on a lot of other people. And we do learn, though, that she's been dealing with her own internal battles, too. So it makes for a little bit more redeeming character, but, you know, she's still kind of an asshole. Would you say she got like a rivalry with the Bridgerton family?
Oh, easily. Not only is Daphne deemed the most eligible bachelorette, so that's already done ticked her off. Bridgertons are kind of more of a esteemed and respected family than I think her family is.
Yeah.
You know, they have just a better reputation all in all. So
due mostly to her husband's gambling problem. Yeah. He's pretty much swindled all of their all of their money into gambling, and they're they're borderline broke. Yeah, man, they're not doing too good. So that's another reason she's trying so hard to uphold their image.
She has 3 daughters, like we mentioned, but the main one that you're going to get to know is Penelope. And she's a really, like, a kind, sweethearted girl. She's very shy. And I think she's not really ready to kind of come out this season. She's another person like Eloise, and her and Eloise are best friends. Just really enjoys writing. She enjoys books. You know, she's not really into all of this, you know, belle of the ball stuff. And I also feel like she got, like, low self-esteem as well. Would it be safe to say that?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's all in her body language.
Yeah, she does definitely don't have confidence. She also has a crush on Eloise's middle brother. Would you say she was teaming up with Eloise to try to uncover Lady Whistledown's identity? Kind of.
I mean, maybe at first, but then she kind of stopped caring because she had more important shit to deal with.
Right. I say she was probably more of a supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would like listen to her when she came there. Yeah, right. Like, God damn.
Also staying with the Featherington family is a niece we find out is pregnant with a soldier's child who she is not married to, but she claims to be in love with. And once the mom gets wind of this, she kind of starts trying to strategize. At first, she's trying to get rid of her because she's not really a fan of her. She doesn't like her because she's seemingly so much more attractive than her own daughters. When she finds out she's pregnant, she tries to sabotage that situation too. Out of what? Jealousy? What?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah. I wouldn't even say that. I think that she felt like she knew how the story was going in. And in her own way, she was trying to spare her any pain. So I think in her mind, she was just speeding up the process of the inevitable is what I felt like. She was, of course, fucking wrong. I mean, for doing that, period.
Like, why?
Yeah, I know, man. I felt like her feelings towards that girl just wasn't justified because it just came from a lot of, like you said, she was just hating on her, to be honest. It's this huge scandal because, of course, she's pregnant with another man's child, but she's also in the runnings this season to try to be chosen for marriage. So they're trying to get her married off before it can be appeared that she's pregnant. It is wild.
It's so wild. Because she's already 2 months pregnant by the time they trying to force her on somebody. Right. That's the phrase I'm going to use because that's what they trying to do. Trying to pawn her off on somebody. All right, let's talk about the Duke. So the Duke of Hastings is a Duke. Obviously, he's like the most eligible bachelor. He's chosen to remain single. We come to find out that the reason he chose to be single is because of the relationship he had with his dad. It was very verbally abusive. He felt like he didn't feel like, but the former Duke wanted nothing to do with the son because of his speech impediment. He saw him as unintelligent and just pretty much worthless. After he found out about this, he kind of said that he was dead to him.
When it was revealed that he had a speech impediment, his reaction, he was like,
when he was like, idiot.
I said, bro, that shit. I'm like, bro, you cannot say that. That shit was crazy.
His reaction was wild.
Yeah, but, I couldn't believe it.
But yeah, because of that, he's chosen to remain single, and he does not want to continue on his family's legacy. Also, he has a motherly figure who's known as Lady what?
Lady Donberry.
She pretty much raised him after his father cast him aside. He admires her a lot. She's very loving, stern, but loving.
She helped him overcome his speech impediment. She was the one that kind of gave him the confidence.
That's the main point.
Yeah. I loved her character, man. I thought she was so dope.
Like, she was probably the best character. I felt like she was like the best person.
Yes.
Easily.
Story. Most grounded, very confident.
Yeah, the most genuine person.
Yeah, and I felt like she could talk to anybody. Like anybody that she had an interaction with, I felt like she could impart a lot of really good advice. Like she just was so wise, you know.
All right. Key moments, takeaways.
The whole situation with Daphne and the Duke, like watching that unfold, the fact that he was willing to spite his father, even in death, and like deny himself happiness. They had a really good conversation about that, and she kind of had mentioned the fact that it had more to do with the fact that he didn't quite know how to be a good father, and I think he had insecurities of that because he didn't have a good father growing up. So how could he really be a good husband and father? He said it was despite his father, which I'm sure it was. Well, I think part of that was also the fact that he kind of felt like in a way he would become his father. She was like, so you telling me that to spite a man that ain't even here no more, like you not even going to be happy with me? We could be happy, have a kid or whatever. And he was was kind of like just looking like, damn, that shit do sound stupid. And then she was like, yo, I need you to say it. Like, say it out loud, because if you say it, you'll understand how dumb that shit fucking sounds. Those situations can be very true, man, where you just feel, you like just holding on to grudges, man, and how it's, in the end, that energy is just not going to help you lead to any real happiness today.
All that means is you still giving that person way too much power in your life.
Right.
And in all actuality, that means that they won, which
it's
literally having the opposite effect.
That whole scene where they was about to do the duel, that duel was, first of all,
the concept of dueling was just wild.
In the intro, that nigga told him, I demand satisfaction. Like, that's how you initiate. He knew. He was like, damn, I gotta kill this nigga. I guess that makes sense to tell another heterosexual man you demand satisfaction. I guess a gunfight do need to kind of occur after that shit to make it right. Okay. Then the way they do it won't even on no like Wild Wild West shit where the shit is on your hip. They walk, like 10 paces? Then they like turned and aimed.
Yeah.
It's like, nigga, who ain't gonna die in this scenario? What the fuck?
Well, I mean, that's the intent, I'm sure, right?
But I'm sure they want to have at least one survivor.
Well, yeah. Oh.
But it looked like they were both aiming at the same time. You know
I see what you're saying, but
like when you grab it off your hip, you get like the upper hand kind of if you quick on the draw.
Yeah.
But if y'all both do like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I didn't know who was going. Like, how are they supposed to survive that?
I guess whoever the better shot is, maybe. I mean, if they both did.
Yeah, I guess.
Nobody wins in this situation. No. Somebody going to be like damn near mortally wounded, right. Or somebody just going to be dead.
Right. What about that freak off party that old boy went to?
Oh, the little orgy?
That shit was crazy.
Oh, the goddamn Uncle Luke's freak.
Right.
Sir Luke's freak show.
To find out that was his wife, like one of the girls that he got, I was like, oh, that shit, wow. But then he didn't care. He was living a whole nother life.
For the street.
Right.
Ain't give a damn. Yeah, he had other priorities.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And he ended up going to this wild party in some high society artist house.
That man was like,
first it was First they were just painting people in the nude, and I knew, I was like, this shit gonna
flip. Knew shit was gonna get freaky.
Right. He came back on night number 2, and it was,
it's a sexy part.
Right. How'd you feel about Daphne and the Duke's relationship overall?
I didn't care about it.
Yeah, really?
But, it was still well acted. It was compelling. I didn't care about it. There's no discredit to the actor or the actress. It was just like very soap opera-y for me. It was just, it's not my favorite genre, but
Yeah. I was invested, but I also was getting really annoyed with the degree that they kept like dragging shit out. But it's a TV show, so I understand that you got to kind of extend the drama, to keep people watching. But it was moments in the show where I'm like, oh my God, why they don't just communicate? But I felt like it was an authenticity even in that, because it be like that sometimes. Your pride and miscommunications happen where people just be frustrated with the person that they love and care about. And it's like, you don't talk to them and you don't work it out and you do be stubborn. And I felt like the show captured that in a way. But I always felt like they also really captured well that through all of that anger, clearly they loved each other and they was just being petty. You know what I'm saying?
That I did appreciate how relatable it was, how easy it is to see problems in a relationship when there's a lack of communication.
Yes.
I did appreciate that aspect because that's a very real look at marriage in general. So
absolutely.
I thought that was all right. It's just the people I didn't care about. But the overall, the theme or the root of the issue, I thought was very relatable. What about that dude she was about to marry? Like the first dude.
Who?
The older dude that Daphne, that her brother was trying to set up.
Oh my!
Remember him?
That nigga was creepy.
Wasn't
he was very creepy. I was like, because then he was like,
how he kept doing it.
And he stayed getting beat up too. That nigga got the hands more time.
Man, oh my God! When he came up, when he popped up on the family, it was like he's like in a great deal of pain. I'll show you what to do. Bro, dog, just go home.
Yeah,
Take
right.
the L
it's over,
and
bro.
just continue
count
living your nice, wealthy life, man. It's not even worth it.
Right. You gotta count your losses, bro. Dog, this is another thing. This ain't got shit to do with nothing, but I gotta say this. Listen, man, that pull-out method that he was doing was risky business.
Does it hurt?
That nigga was pulling out at the absolute last moment that you probably should ever do some shit like that. It's like, dude, are you trying to get her pregnant or what? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, he was pretty dramatic about it too.
I was like, nigga, ain't no reason why.
She had to ask questions.
Soon as you, every time because she didn't know anything about ejaculation. That's how uneducated she was about sex. She didn't even know how you have children. She didn't know the process.
It was a violent pullout. It did look like it hurt. He would jump off and go in a corner somewhere. I was like, man.
I was like, nigga, this is a TV scheme.
Than that.
Right. Like, don't know, it ain't like that in real life. Like, this nigga wilder.
Bust on the jump.
Right. That's what I was going. I'm like, nigga, do a controlled release, just exit.
Is that a controlled release?
So come to find out that Penelope is actually Lady Whistledown, which is the youngest Featherington daughter, Eloise's best friend. So that was kind of interesting, but I suspected her.
I did. I definitely suspected. And the first time I think I suspected is when she was talking to her. She was talking to Eloise, and the way she reacted, it was just weird to me. Yeah. And I was like, well, that must be Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, right.
That reaction just ain't make sense in the situation. I can't remember what the discussion was.
The moment where I felt like I knew it was her was when the story came out about Lady Thompson. And I was just like, who the fuck but anybody in this family would know something like that? And she was the only one that had something to gain because she liked the brother. Right. And that's when I was like, yo, if it ain't her, then I don't know who it might be. Definitely felt like it was her because I was like, dog, that's not information that they were doing a really good job of keeping that situation contained, I must say. I thought that was so whack. Like, if I'm gonna be really honest, like, just knowing the time period, I understood what she was saying, right? Like, in terms of why she would bring something like that to light, and I understood why she told him about it. I thought that she did the right thing there. But to put it in the paper and to pretty much tarnish your mother's reputation, your sister's, and condemn this girl to a life of, had that nigga not came along and married her, she would have been like, what, like a prostitute or something with a baby? That shit would have been wild, bro. And I felt like you was kind of condemning her to a fate beyond something she deserved. She was a young girl. She didn't know no better. Like, once again, another girl that didn't even know about how a baby was produced. And, you know, she just fell in love with some guy and had a baby. Like, I didn't think it was right what she was choosing to do to the Bridgerton boy. But at the same time, it's like, you know, she's young. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was fucked
overkill.
Up. Yeah, it was overkill.
Exposing it to everybody.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
They could have kept that shit internal.
I thought her telling him was the right thing to do. But when she published it in the paper telling the town, because that's the part that condemns her to a greater fate, because he wasn't going to tell nobody, I don't think. And then for what? Like, just because you like this dude? Like, it just was, and then it was for your own selfish reasons, you know? It wasn't as noble as she tried to make it appear. It was because she had a crush on that boy. Like, you know, of course she cared about his well-being, but that was the ultimate reason. And I don't know, I felt like that was super whack.
So overall, Bridgerton, it was a decent watch. Regal soap opera, basically. I really enjoyed the scenery and the dedication to the illusion of the time period. I thought that was well executed. It was well acted, as melodramatic as it was at times, but I thought the cast did a pretty good job. There was also some pretty comedic moments in there too, surprisingly. Overall, I'm going to give Bridgerton a 7 out of 10 for me personally.
You know what, man? I actually, surprisingly, like you, enjoyed this show more than I thought I would. I really enjoyed the character interactions, man. I did. I thought that Daphne and the Duke had great chemistry. The other characters, I thought did a really good job as well. Even the ones you wasn't supposed to like, they did a good job at being not likable. Personally, I'm going to give it an 8.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our review of the Netflix original series, Bridgerton. Hope y'all enjoyed that. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggested reviews, whether it be for a TV show, a movie, or a trailer, drop a comment below.
Please do. And if you guys have seen Bridgerton, please tell us what you thought of the show. Who were some of your favorite characters? Some of your favorite moments? Do you feel like you want a season 2? Do you feel like they're going to make one? I mean, it's pretty likely that they will. But tell us what your thoughts are on that as well. We'd like to hear it.
Also, if you have read the book, which I don't personally know anybody that has, or the book series, we would like to know what differences the book had from the show.
I had no idea that it was a book until you just said that. And I didn't know that. But yeah, then you're right. Then there'll be a season 2. I assure you of that. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank y'all.
Peace.
Peace.